What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Goldenvolt, and I am back again with another Madden 19 video, and we have another week of Team of the Week predictions for the NFL season, Week 2. Now, just like Week 1, Week 2 was also crazy in its own unique way. Offense definitely dominated, in my opinion. I was definitely struggling to find defensive players to choose for this Team of the Week, and I'm sure EA will be as well. We had some crazy high-scoring games, some crazy breakout performances, and yet again, another tie. But regardless of how NFL players played on either side of the ball, what we do know is that every single week in Madden 19, a Team of the Week program will re-release with some brand new items. So let's get it started with our predictions with the gold players. Now, I think the biggest reason I was struggling with the gold versus elite versus whatever you might call it players this week is because a lot of the cards that are currently gold players in Madden 19 had good enough performances where I think it's going to be pretty tough to keep them a gold rather than bumping them up to an elite. With that being said, I'm not super confident in my gold player picks, but this week I have Matt Breida from the 49ers, rookie Derwin James from the Chargers, Elijah Lee from the 49ers, and Tavon Austin from the Cowboys. Breida definitely had the most impressive stat line out of any of these gold choices this week. He rushed for 138 yards and a touchdown on 11 attempts, as well as getting some catches in there. And he showed that even though Jerick McKinnon got hurt, the 49ers definitely still have somebody they can rely on in that backfield. Now, Derwin James had a very solid performance. He had 8 tackles, including 2 sacks, but this choice was a little tough for me considering his card is already a 77 overall in Ultimate Team. I don't know if they're going to give him a 78. I don't know if they're going to give him a card at all, but I think he definitely deserves an upgrade, so who knows, maybe that comes in the form of a gold Team of the Week player. We also have Elijah Lee, linebacker on the 49ers, who is currently a silver in Madden Ultimate Team. He had himself a game with 12 tackles, 1 sack, and a forced fumble, so definitely a very solid game for him. Definitely good enough to bump him to a gold. Probably one of my most confident picks so far this week. And finally, Tavon Austin looks to maybe have revitalized his career with Dak and the Dallas Cowboys, drawing in 2 receptions for 79 yards and a touchdown. Those were the golds. Let's move on to the low elite players for Team of the Week predictions Week 2. The players in the low elite tier definitely balled out this week, arguably some of the most impressive stat lines out of any other players in the NFL. And let's start it off with my guy Keelan Cole. I've been so high on Keelan Cole, especially last year. Coming into this year, I drafted him in fantasy. I reached for him a little bit, but that seems to have paid off as the Patriots took on the Jaguars this week, and the Jags definitely took that W. Keelan Cole brought in 7 receptions for 116 yards and a touchdown, and on top of that, I had probably the greatest catch in NFL history. I get it, Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch was amazing, but I do not think we should sell Keelan Cole short. So if this guy gets a new card, his spectacular catch is definitely going to get a huge boost. Next, Jesse James, tight end for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He brought in 5 receptions for over 130 yards, plus a touchdown. Definitely had the most impressive stat line of any tight end this week next to Travis Kelce, and definitely earns himself a low elite in Madden Ultimate Team. Rookie middle linebacker Darius Leonard for the Indianapolis Colts probably had the most impressive stat line out of anybody this week in the NFL. He brought in 18 total tackles, not 8, 18 total tackles, along with a sack, a forced fumble, and a pass defended. I think he's currently like a 74 overall in Madden Ultimate Team, so this is a perfect performance to boost him up to that elite tier, and I definitely think the Colts have found a building block in their defense that will produce for them for years to come. And finally, Kiko Alonso. It is not a Team of the Week year without Kiko Alonso somewhere getting a Team of the Week card, and this week he brought in 13 total tackles and 2 forced fumbles for the Miami Dolphins. Now we're starting to get a little more exciting. Moving on to the high elite cards. These are going to be the 85s, the 84s. These are the cards that can definitely make an impact on your team and are definitely going to be the expensive ones in the Team of the Week hero set. So let's kick it off with none other than Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles had an amazing week, going 29 for 45 for 377 yards and 4 touchdowns to get the W against the New England Patriots. Obviously one of the best teams in the NFL historically and this year, and Blake the Snake balled out. Probably one of the best performances I've ever seen out of Blake Bortles, and definitely trying to hold on to that job in Jacksonville, showing why they drafted him 3rd overall. If Blake can play like this for the rest of the year, the Jags will definitely be a contender to watch out for this Super Bowl. Next, we have Will Fuller coming off of an injury. We were actually not sure if he was going to play this week, as he didn't play last week, but he brought in 8 receptions for 113 yards and a touchdown. Obviously a great stat line, but I think the main reason he would get a Team of the Week card is because of that speed. EA definitely knows that Madden Ultimate Team players want the cards that have the speed, and Will Fuller definitely is one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL, so I think that might just get him a high elite this week. Next, we have Adoree Jackson. He is currently an 82 overall cornerback in Madden Ultimate Team for the Tennessee Titans, and this week his stat line was 6 tackles, an interception, and a pass defended. Again, definitely one of the fastest people at his position, and I would love to see him get a new card this year. And finally, we have Quan Alexander coming in with 7 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. Definitely a solid game from the linebacker, and I think one that earns him another elite card in Madden Ultimate Team. Now guys, this is where it gets really difficult. Like I said, there was basically no defensive player that stood out to me this week. Obviously last week you had Khalil Mack, Von Miller, Miles Jackson, players that had amazing games, and this week that's just not the case. It was definitely the week for offenses rather than defenses, and everybody that had a decent enough game already has a pretty high card in Madden Ultimate Team. So for this week, I am reluctantly choosing Jarrell Casey, the right end for the Tennessee Titans. He did have a very solid game with 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. The only problem is his current card in Madden Ultimate Team is already an 89 because he recently got a heavyweight upgrade. So while the stat line I think does deserve a 90 overall team of the week, it's just kind of tough to determine if EA is going to give him the +1 boost this week, but I think he deserved it, and I don't really know who else would. So I'm going to choose for my defensive hero, again reluctantly, Jarrell Casey. And as if the defensive hero choice was not hard enough and interesting enough to make, my offensive hero this week is Patrick Mahomes, quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now when I say he had an amazing performance, that is easily underselling it. He quite literally had a historic performance as an NFL quarterback. He went 23 for 28 for 326 yards and 6 passing touchdowns. Now obviously that stat line in itself is insane, but on top of that he threw for 4 touchdowns last week for a total of 10 touchdowns in the first 2 starts of his career. And while he did play in a little bit of a game last year, he didn't throw any touchdowns. And even though in the first game he played, he threw 0 touchdowns, he broke an NFL record for the most touchdown passes thrown in the first 3 games of a quarterback's career. If that doesn't blow your mind, think about that one more time. He threw 0 touchdowns in his first game and still broke the NFL record for the most touchdowns in the first 3 games of anybody's career. Absolutely insane. He broke some Kansas City records, NFL records, had an absolute insane game. The only problem is he just got an 86 overall card last week for the Rising Star promo. This is one of those things where I think hands down he deserves the hero more than anybody else in the NFL. It's not even close. He had the best performance out of any NFL player, and I think it would be perfect to upgrade him from an 86 to a 90. It's just, I don't know if EA is going to do it in a week span. The people who did the 86 for a lot of coins are probably going to be pissed because this new one just came out and now that one's worthless. But if they do make him, I think he hands down will be the best card in the game. He'll probably have one of the highest throw powers out of any quarterbacks in Madden. He's going to be super mobile, super athletic, and an all-around amazing quarterback to have on your squad in Madden. Again, we're going to have to see if EA wants to grant him that card 1 week after getting another upgrade, but if he does, I think it's well deserved, and if he doesn't get it now, he's definitely going to need to get one soon because he is currently the MVP in the NFL, and again, I don't think it's close. If Patrick Mahomes doesn't get it, I can see them giving it to somebody like Michael Thomas, who had another great game on top of his great game from last week, or perhaps Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins, somebody like that. But honestly, like I said, I think if it's anybody but Patrick Mahomes, that's just completely unfair. So EA, please make the right choice. We want a 90 overall Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, guys, that is gonna do it for today's video. Let me know what you think down below of my Team of the Week predictions for Week 2. Who did I get right? Who did I get wrong? And who did I miss out on? If you're not already, subscribe to join the Volt Squad. We do NFL Team of the Week predictions every single week, and I've been having a ton of fun doing them for you guys, so show some love down below if you're enjoying the series, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I enjoy creating it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, it's been Volt. I'll catch you on the sticks. Later.
Make the ground shake.